Hello, beautiful ladies. I used to think that being feminine was part of following gender roles, but as I've learned more and more about feminine energy, I have found so many ways in which my mother was in her masculine and in her chasing energy, which I would have never guessed. This is a woman who followed gender roles much more rigidly than other people in my area did. So here's just one story. You'll be hearing more in more of my videos to come. When I was about 5 years old, I broke a dish. And she was very upset with me that I broke a dish. And so next time I broke a dish, again when I was about 5 years old, I was very upset and I was crying so much because I learned from what she taught me last time. I really thought I was a bad girl and it was very bad that I broke a dish and I should feel very bad. But instead of her being pleased with me that I understood this time that it was really bad to break a plate, instead she comforted me and tried to get me to stop crying. And that was really frustrating because I thought I had learned. I thought that I was responding in the way that I should respond. And then come next time, that's not how it was. This is chasing energy because when my mother got what she wanted, which is for me to have felt bad when I broke a dish, she didn't receive it. She didn't feel as though what should happen, did happen to her. Instead, she saw something else wrong with the situation that she had to fix. This is the same as when a man will hear a woman suggest to him something to do. And when he hears it, he says, no, that's a bad idea. I'm not going to do that. And then on his own, he comes up with just about the same idea. The reason is that the masculine wants success and other good things to come to them through their own effort in the current moment. Feminine energy is allowing good things to come to you. So if you are in your masculine, when something good comes to you, you may very well reject it. The funny thing that is told in the feminine energy world, at least, is when you have a problem for your man to solve, to let him figure out what he thinks the best way is to solve it, instead of you, who might very well have a much better way of solving the problem. And even though it would ultimately have better results, at least short term, if he does your good idea, which was better than his, he will still not perceive it as well. He needs to think that he was the one who put in the effort. He was the one that saved the day. And as Manifestel says, don't get mad, get paid. That's something I've been adopting more and more over the years. It is what is best in the long term. Sometimes you have to forego what's best in the short term, because if someone's trying to help you and you say, no, that's not exactly what I want, they are going to be less inclined to help you next time. So sometimes you have to accept the help that's not quite what you want in order to have more help in the future. As an autistic person, this is a really helpful thing for me to keep in mind, because in general, I am less flexible than a neurotypical person. I do less well with changes in plan. And so if I have a guideline that if I am getting what I want, just in a slightly different way, I need to remind myself I got what I want. I need to be happy now. And you might think, when you hear this story, this story I have to tell actually sounds like the story of an autistic little girl who needs expectations to be so consistent, and you might very well be right. And when I'm raising my own little girl, I try to be so clear with expectations. I try not to do what my mother did. It really hurt when I was a little kid, and I tried so hard to be good, and I'd remember the rules precisely and I'd follow them, and then it would turn out I still did not get it right. Does my consistency cause my little girl to be flexible and ready for the real world? Not totally, but that's, also because she's a little girl and she's not going to be totally flexible and ready for the real world yet. And my upbringing, where there was much more inconsistency, also didn't serve me to be more flexible and ready for the real world when I don't have mom and dad helping me out. She just entered kindergarten, and she just had 2 ways that showed some inflexible thinking on her part, where she took what she was told and she thought it meant exactly what she was told, and she followed it, and it turned out poorly. The first was in her cafeteria. All the kids have to stay sitting down. They can't run around, and if they need help, they need to sit and raise their hand and wait for someone to come help them. And my little girl couldn't open her lunch. And she asked her friends sitting at the table with her if they could open her lunch, and they tried and they couldn't either. She raised her hand, nobody noticed, nobody came, and she went all lunch without eating her lunch. She didn't know when it was appropriate to break the rules, and she didn't know that if someone isn't noticing that she's doing the appropriate thing to ask for help, that then it's okay for her to get up and make sure somebody notices that she needs help. The second way was she was hit on the bus, and she didn't tell the bus driver. And I told her afterwards, don't you know that, I told her afterwards that she was told to tell the teacher when she gets hit at school, right? And she said, I know that, but there's no teacher on the bus. There's only the driver. And so I explained to her then, as I'm sure I will have to explain to her many times, because again, I'm an autistic person, so why should this make sense to me? But to me, it doesn't make any sense. It seems to me like the right thing for a little kid to have to be told over and over again that when someone tells you an expectation, it's actually going to be a little different than exactly what they told you. And it's too bad that I was never told that growing up. I was just confused and upset. I tried so hard to be good, and over again, I'd follow a rule, and it wasn't what I was supposed to do. And I got in trouble and made me really feel bad, because I really did not mean to be bad. And it's too bad that I didn't understand that, because there was a time I was actually in quite a bit of physical danger when I was in elementary school because of this. So I live somewhere where there's earthquakes, and we have earthquake drills in school. We were told when there's an earthquake, you need to go under your desk, duck and cover. We were also told it was another option to stand in the doorway. So when an earthquake happened when I was in the 1st grade, I was across the classroom from my desk. So what I did while the earthquake was happening is I ran all the way across the classroom to get specifically under my desk, because that's the desk that I was told to get under. There was a doorway right next to me. I was told that was an option, but nobody said the words to me that you need to get under the thing that's closest to you. I didn't understand that in the moment. I told this story to my little girl's kindergarten teacher before school started, and she really appreciated it. It's a good reminder of ways that children need specificity in order to understand what they're told to do. But you know what? After the kindergarten teacher was told that, there were still two little mishaps early on in the school year where my little girl didn't understand that expectations are flexible. I hope that this has been helpful for you. There's a whole lot of other ways that feminine energy has been helpful to me, both as an autistic person and in other ways. And I really look forward to teaching you a lot more about this in the future. Bye.